Guys, we are here with another episode of Shut Up Marc, the Shut Up Marc podcast. I'm here with a man. I say this about literally every guest, but a guy really doesn't need any introduction, to be honest with you. We're here with World Series champion Johnny Damon, guys. Everybody clap. Please clap for the man. One guy clap in the room. There we go. We got one guy. We got two guys. There we go. The crowd's packed.
Thank you, two guys.
Thanks, two guys here. Crowd's packed in here right now. Speaking of the crowd, what are we doing here tonight?
Yeah, so we are here at Mohegan Sun, and Marc, thanks for having me on your podcast. There's a lot of people here.
There is. It's buzzing down there right now, dude. It's electric. It's an absolute electric factory down there right now.
Yeah, and your first time to Mohegan Sun.
It is my first time at the Heeg. This is my first time at the Heeg, and we are down here because of Dave's Hot Chicken, our incredible sponsor. Restaurant locations opening across New England monthly at this point. Most recently, in the home of the Woo Sox, Worcester, Massachusetts, 41 Park Ave. Go check it out. Find a location ASAP. You will not regret it. Top Dog Law. You ever heard it work, Johnny? Oh, very durable guy. I got to say, durable guy. Really didn't miss much time at the office. If you're hurt at work, personal injury, car accident, whatever it is, Top Dog Law, all your injury needs, reach out. They're tagged in all my Instagram posts. They're on screen ads here. Call the number, get the justice and compensation you deserve ASAP. Belmont Dental Group in Belmont for all of your dental ortho needs. Again, information right there going to be in the caption. Anything you need, oral help, anything like that, Belmont Dental's where you want to be. Flow Golf, we're just going through all the ad reads right now. We're going to rip through it. Your number one indoor golf facility in Saugus, Massachusetts on the North Shore. These are my guys right here. 10 bays, full liquor license. A-game hydration fucking drink is also here. I'm going to have Johnny tell us about that in 2 seconds. Best hydration drink on the planet. And then right down here, The Jewel, Union Street, Attleboro, Mass. Condos and apartments for lease now, single and two bedroom, range anywhere from $1,900 to $2,300 a month. They're about halfway full now, 60%. And go in, check it out. You're looking to get yourself into an affordable area with connections right to the city via train, whatever else. And that, my friend, is how we bang out all the ad reads all at once. And with that being said, Johnny, you want to tell us about A-Game, like, real quick? Like, just let us know what's going on here. You've been, since I met you, you've been grinding this thing out. So Johnny's going to tell you about A-Game right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks again, Marc. A-Game is the cleanest hydration drink out there, the ultimate in hydration. You talked about the Woo Sox. Polar Beverages is a great distributor for us, and we love them. And we've been going out there and bringing our A-Game. So we have no artificial flavors, colorings, none of those bullshit forever chemicals. So, and we taste great, and it works.
It's also keto friendly.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You told me that. Remember last year I was on keto and you were like, no, you can drink the shit. I was like, oh, I can? You're like, yeah, absolutely.
All right. Let me confirm, but
I'm pretty sure it is.
Were you talking to me?
I think so. Yeah, it was. It was somebody.
Oh, shit.
Also, it doesn't have any of the shit that Robert F. Kennedy would allow to be put into a fucking beverage right now, Johnny. So that is RFK approved right there. The board, the whatever the fuck it is, the Board of Health already approved A-Game. It's going to be all set.
Yeah, we have got to be so excited for America. I know Donald Trump, some people don't like him, but he has great policies, and he's bringing on Democrats that he actually knows that's going to go out there, help, work hard. And Robert Kennedy is doing one of the greatest things we need, make America healthy again. Look at all the obese out there. Look at all these kids who aren't working out anymore. You know, I love my phone. I love the iPad and all that stuff.
There's better shit out there, though. And it's coming from a guy who works on his phone, by the way, so I sound like a hypocrite, but I'm telling you right now, dude, thank God I grew up playing, like, youth sports.
Yeah.
You know, part of a team. Yeah. Always had something to look forward to, you know, out of school or whatever the hell it was.
Learn how to ride a bike
Anything.
At like 6 years old. Like, a lot of kids don't know how to ride bikes now. A lot of them just don't know how to go outside and enjoy life. I mean, God gave us so many great things to do, and definitely take advantage of it.
Yeah, I think this becomes a recurring thing on this podcast where it's like we get guys that, you know, are done playing their athletic careers. It's been you, Ninkovich, Jermaine Wiggins, and then we get Swayman and Judon who are still playing. But guys, you know, a little bit older, done playing, have kids now, and they're like, dude, I am so glad I grew up like when I did. Me too. And I was like right on the cusp. I'm 32, so right on that cusp of where it started to kind of get a little bit popular, but it wasn't enough to like negatively affect your life at the time. So, yeah, get out there, do something, be a part of a team, anything. Like Ninkovich was saying, I don't care if you join the math club. Like, just do something. Like, have something going for you.
Yeah, you're still a baby. I mean, I just turned 51, and I try to do 100 push-ups a day. I play soccer every Sunday, and, you know, I love my beer, so it's a little tough to get shredded like I was when I played, but I'm having my best life, and I'm hydrating with A-game, especially in the morning, and we have a great time. I have 8 kids, you know, so they get my ass running around all day long, and now they want to go here, go there, and but it's fun.
No, you guys got a Brady bunch going, man. It's insane. They show up with just a caravan of people. It's like a clown car. They just keep getting out of the car in front of La Familia. I was like, is this going to end? How many people are at this thing? But like I said, real quick to finish about A-game, we'll get in the rest of the episode. I was with Ty Law last night, who was taking on a very similar post-career entrepreneurial venture as you have. He started with Sky Zone, crushed it with that shit, got out of that. Now he's with Corvus Vodka, and that's all over the joint. And he's like about the brand. This guy literally like wears the brand. You know what I'm saying? So it's like between you and Ty, you guys are like all over that, you know, post-career entrepreneurship brand thing.
Yeah, so a quick story about the reason why A-game and the ingredients, and we get our sugars from natural honey, we get our hydration from sea salt. But in 2012, it was a very hot summer down in Central Florida. A lot of kids were very dehydrated. You could blame it on the coaches. I keep on running or whatnot. But I also felt like they weren't putting the right hydration, fuel in their body. So we created A-game because there were a number of kids who even died. I mean, football players, we know it happens. We just want to make sure that it never happens. And we have a great hydration drink that everyone will be able to love, enjoy, and you always have to bring your A-game.
You always, speaking of bringing your A-game, I think, listen, there's a 3-part documentary out right now. It's on Netflix. It's reviewing through the fucking roof. How was it reliving that? As far as for you, I mean, you might be on maybe the most famous team. You're part of arguably the most famous team of all time, sports team, right? You get the people like the 98 Bulls. You get, I mean, the 04 Red Sox, the 7 or even 11 Patriots, whatever, different, the 86 Celtics. They're all different, right? But how was it to Pedro said it last night, man, at the gala, by the way, shout out to the Pedro Martinez Foundation. That was a fun night last night. He's like, it never gets old. It doesn't get old to me. He's like, I could still sit here and relive this with the same guys and tell them there's so many stories that you never get sick of hearing. You know, like, how is it for you to like revisit again, like, and continue to do so?
Oh man, it was amazing. They did a fantastic job, and Pedro's right. Every time you see it, it just takes you back to a wonderful time. We were fighting, we were winning, and we were a great team that brought so many people happy. You know, we reversed the curse. We brought Red Sox Nation together once and for all after 86 years. And it was incredible. And just reliving some of the stories, because part of that, after you win, you tend to forget about a few things. I really forgot a whole bunch about the Nomar situation. We knew, you know, he's a little bit banged up. We kind of were like,
so glad you brought this up.
Yeah, well, we knew Kevin Millar said A-Rod was going to be our starting shortstop. So, I mean, there was so much stuff going on that I never like to get into anyone's business. So I kind of go do my thing, go to the field, enjoy the guys, go play hard, go home and see my family.
Were you the type of guy that would kind of wait for a guy to maybe approach you if he had something he needed to get off his chest, instead of being like, hey, man, you know, some guys are a little more, even a guy like Millar might be a little more like, hey, like, what's going on? Like, what's on your mind? I know you're dealing with some shit. You might have been a guy that's like, yo, man, I'm just here when you need, like, if you need somebody.
I'm more the guy who invites everybody, and always at the beginning of the season or when new guys come in, I said, if you ever hear of anything we're doing, you're invited to everything I'm at, come hang out. So that's why I hung out with most of the bullpen guys my whole career, because they never know when they're going to pitch. They always tend to go out a bit more. So I told everyone, like when I order crabs down in Baltimore, let's go to my hotel room, eat some blue crab with some Old Bay, and drink a lot of beer.
And that's what, and Derek Lowe made a point of that. And he said it last night on stage, and he said it in the documentary, where he was like, it started out, baseball's different. You're on the road a lot, guys. It's playing 6 nights a week. It's tough to actually find time to like go out as a team. Hockey, it's different. You're playing like Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you might be in a city a couple days. Football, you're obviously there for a whole weekend, so it's like...
Yeah, but the thing with us, we're together all the time. Yeah. So when we're at home, there's a lot less hanging out. Yeah. And we may have a off day and we'll all have a party or a get-together or karaoke night or whatnot. But on the road, we're hanging out with each other every single night. We're not all of us are staying out till 4 a.m. It's go out, have a couple beers, and then go to your room, so you're not trying to watch TV all night long, because that tends to happen. The guys who go back to their room, they're just changing the channel all night long until 6 a.m.
I'd rather walk in at 2:30 a.m. gassed.
Yes.
Fall asleep before I hit the fucking pillow, and then just wake up the next morning and get back at it. Like that's how my life is structured now.
Yeah, that's why they say baseball players are the best. Like we could handle whatever we take in, and the camaraderie we have to, our social skills with each other. You have to. I mean, playing on a team when you were a kid to high school and college and pros, like you're always with people, and a lot of different people. Mm-hmm. And then you see a bunch of different fans, and it's so great. You and I were just downstairs a minute ago.
You were doing pretty well down there.
Oh,
you were doing pretty well. Johnny still plays pretty well with the public guys.
Yeah, and
still. You know what I'm saying?
Well, our military guy, man, he was so happy.
Oh, that guy was elated.
And that's what it's all about.
And that can't get old to you either. Like the people coming up and being like, dude, I love the team. Like, I loved you, the team. Thank you for everything. That also can't get old.
No, it can't get old. It at times in Boston, it could get frustrating. Like you go get gas, you're trying to hurry to the ballpark, and someone sees you. All of a sudden, there's like 10 cars there, and that was before cell phones. And you're like, man, I have no time to really do what I want to make these fans happy. So a lot of times when you see players or whatnot, we're like, we have to. And then
you're worried about looking like a dick. And it's like,
absolutely.
Like, dude, honestly, like I'm not. And I can tell you, by the way, I can tell you honestly, this guy is like anybody that fucking comes up to him when I'm around him. He's like, hey, how you doing? Yada, yada. Come sit down. Fucking whatever. Dude, it's how me and you met.
Yeah.
I just walked up to you and Michelle and Encore. I was like, hey, man, I love you. Can I buy you a drink? You're like, yeah, sure. It's been like pretty uphill ever since, I think. You know what I'm saying? We've stayed in pretty close contact since then. Yeah. But
yeah, for sure.
But like I said, like Derek Lowe was saying, it would start out like you'd have like, 8, 9 guys that would go out. And this is on like different teams. Veteran guys might not go out as much. Mostly single guys, you know what I mean? Whatever. Then he was like, then 12, 13 guys, 15, 19. Next thing you know, the whole fucking team's out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
everybody was invited to hang out.
Now that's awesome because you hear about that in, especially, I hate to say this, but like the older school days, the pro sports, for how like guys would look down on younger guys, and not look down, but like just not really acknowledge them at the level of respect that you probably should a teammate, right out of the gate, whether the guy's a rookie, whether he's a UDF, whatever it is, how he got there.
You're going to need him. I mean,
yep.
These are some of the guys who come in late in the season and gives the team life and a spark. So, yeah, every time some young kid came in, I was like, hey, come and help us win some ball games whenever you want to hang out. And these young kids are like, really? Like, you want to hang out tonight after the game? I'm like,
fuck yeah, man.
Every night we're teammates, and even when we're not teammates, when we different teams and all that stuff, like, let's hang out. I mean, what we ended up doing was living a childhood dream to play Major League Baseball, and it should not affect anything. We were happy then. You should always be happy now. So definitely the greatest times of, I would say, 95% of Major League Baseball players of their lives. It was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, and you got to think back, especially a guy like you who was a part of like just a bunch of signature moments. Like I'm not even trying to say this in like it's obviously not a negative, excuse me, but like it's almost like spoiled.
Yeah.
I mean, like really spoiled. Like you get the 04 team, you know, whoever, like the Yankees in 09, you're like, dude, I'm here in these huge sports markets doing this historic shit. You got to think, because there's guys, man, that in the way Major League Baseball, especially with how free agency works, and we've talked about this a little bit, like with how arbitration hems guys up and teams have control over players for a fucking super long period of time. There's guys that probably wasted the prime years of the career in fucking Pittsburgh or some market that just doesn't give a shit. And here you are, dude, ripping it up. Again, even like the Oakland team.
Yeah.
Like it was like you've been in like so many of these like big moments in like baseball. It's like, what is that like?
Yeah, so there's a big reason why I got traded from Kansas City. You know, I spent about 9 years with them at the beginning of my career. Got traded after one of the greatest seasons for a leadoff hitter.
That's true. Look it up.
Yeah, so what did I hit that year? 327, scored 136, drove in 88.
Jesus Christ.
So our team batting average that year was 288. The leading team this year was 263.
Yeah.
So think about how the game has changed. And I actually loved how our game was back then. We didn't strike out much. We put the ball in play. We knew every little bit of the fundamentals. Everyone on the team knew how to bunt, hit and run, and
ball players.
Yeah,
everybody was a ball player. You
Yeah.
knew what you had to do to fucking get a bunt down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Hit and run situation, whatever the hell you're trying to do. You're trying to get a ball deep in the air, the outfield for a set, like something.
Yeah.
You had an approach.
Now it was a little different with the number of pitchers. Like when you had Pedro going up against you the next day, you're kind of going, if we can get 1 or 2 runs, but we don't know how many runs they're going to get from us. But guys like Pedro and Clemens, all Boston Red Sox, they were 2 of the best I've ever faced.
What was it like for you to finally get done facing? Because you were in the American League.
Yes.
So it's not like you were playing in San Diego and played this guy fucking maybe once a year. You were in Kansas, KC, Oakland. Were you finally like, oh God, I finally have to fucking face this guy? Like, this is so great that he's finally, on my team.
Well, yeah. So right when I was starting that, how the game has changed, you end up getting traded because if you take this deal, the Royals would either trade Jermaine Dye or Mike Sweeney. And I knew they loved it in Kansas City. And I was like, man, I can't do that to them. So they looked at viable teams, and I go out to Oakland with Jason Giambi, and I finally got to learn how winning baseball really is. The way he captained the clubhouse, I mean, nothing quite like it. So Jason Giambi was the captain. Yeah.
So Jason, he's not a guy that's like out too much in the public eye now. Obviously, had some shit happen during his career and afterwards with different types of shit. But
the best guy, best teammate.
Really?
Yeah, so good. I can put Jermaine Dye, Mike Sweeney, Randa. I mean, there's so many guys. I mean, there's so many great guys.
Sweeney's like a baseball fan's baseball player.
Oh, man,
you got to remember back in there. Like, he's one of the first guys I remember seeing like on TV because like you didn't really know much about. Put it this way. This is gonna sound stupid. My hometown, Georgetown, Massachusetts, the reason I always liked the Kansas City Royals, how I found out about you, Carlos Beltran, Sweeney, and Dye, our mascot is the Royals.
Wow.
Our colors were blue and white and everything, and we had your guys' hats and everything like that. So I was like, oh, cool. Like, we got a major league team. This is sick. So I would always, I would like wait for you guys to make the playoffs and shit. I mean, obviously it was a tough time for the franchise, but you guys had like a good crop of you guys were like the Miami Marlins of back then, because believe it or not, the Marlins were actually trying to win more than they are right now, which is a different conversation for a different day. But like, you're going to talk about like the Marlins had Stanton, Yelich, and a couple of other guys that were like going to be cornerstone players. Meanwhile, Kansas City was sitting on you, Beltran, Dye, Sweeney.
Yep.
Like, you could have built a pretty good team around you guys That's a pretty good 1 through 4.
Yeah.
Quite literally.
Yeah. We had a great team, but we weren't on TV much because we played for Kansas City.
That's true.
We lost a lot. There weren't all this press that's out there in the world.
No, now Bobby Witt goes 4 for 4, and the Royals are all over fucking social media now.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, it's always good to have a good team that people want to follow you, and then the networks say, "Can we have them for the game?" So yeah, you have to start winning games, and regardless, if the Yankees aren't on, they're going to be somewhere else.
ESPN Monday Night Baseball when they used
Boston
to have
as
that.
well. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Can you go just touch back to the documentary really quick? We'll flip-flop back and forth a little bit. Why not? How did you feel looking at that documentary? Kind of showed me like, I think Nomar kind of got fucked a little bit. I think he got done a little bit dirty, and I don't think it was really fair to him because he probably looked like again, this is before the social media.
He really looks like
he looks
the
like an
bad
asshole.
guy.
If I'm saying
and he
before.
was fine with me, yeah.
Right.
But I know a lot of people like talk, and it's unfortunate, and that's why I always try to stay out of people's business, and I'm always open for anyone. So
was it like
I was there for everyone.
Was it a little bit of an elephant in the room for you guys? Did it really become as big of a distraction as it's kind of been portrayed to be a little bit? Like,
I wouldn't say it was a distraction. We knew he really wasn't playing, so man up, At
that point, it's like, all right, well, we're going with what we got. We're going with the guys here and like whatever. Let him figure it out and just stay out of the way. And
I kind of had a year like that with the Yankees in 2007, like my second year there. It was, I know Joe Torre wanted me to lose about 15 pounds going into spring training, and my playing weight has been around 218. He wanted me to get down to about 205, so I did my best. I got down to about 208, but right away, just little nagging stuff like your calf, getting out of a cab, your back hurts, hitting in the Colorado Rockies batting cage. I'm chewing gum. All of a sudden, one of my fillings pops out, and it's like, son of a bitch. Like, everything happened, like trying to lose some weight, and then I just couldn't.
Did he have a reason behind this?
Well,
what did he?
Michelle.
We'll talk about Joe. We'll talk about Torrey in a minute. By the way, if Johnny wants to talk about this.
Well, I mean, granted, Michelle just had our first child together.
Okay,
and we're down in Miami on the beach. I'm putting on a little belly just to be a great husband, So Michelle's like, I'm not going on the beach to have someone take a picture of my belly. So I was like, I'm going to go down for a little bit. Someone takes a picture on the front cover of one of the newspapers. It said, "Johnny Eat Good." Not Johnny Be Good, but Johnny Eat Good. So, Tori saw it. Had to have seen it, and it was like, can you drop some weight? And I was like, this is perfect playing weight. When you weigh a little bit more, especially with a little belly at the time, the ball is going to fly out of the ballpark. And, another story, when I went to Cleveland in 2012, they really didn't serve us great food before the game, like all these other ballparks.
I completely forgot Yankees. You played in. I'm not going to lie. That's a totally fever dream.
So it was my last season.
About that.
So we had sushi every day. So everyone just kept dropping weight. So we were a pretty good team. All of a sudden,
lean bunch of guys.
Soon enough, I felt like I was crushing balls, and guys are catching it on the warning track. So that's when I was weighing about 206 to 208 that year. Like, I need to be at 215.
Because you're first thing I noticed about you, you're a lot taller than I thought you were. I don't think anybody realized you're like all of 6'3", 6'4"?
In heels, but I'm 6'2". Yeah.
Are you 6'2"? Either way, I always thought you were like a 5'11", 6 foot, like a little bit above average guy. And then I look at you, I'm like, holy shit, this guy's a fucking big dude. But
big boy.
If you felt like that was the right playing weight for you, and you were whatever you were producing and whatever the fuck, I don't know what the issue comes in here.
Yeah, the whole thing, I always stayed healthy in my career. Like 16 seasons of 140 games plus. Only Brooks Robinson and Willie Mays. And
sheesh.
Cal Ripken couldn't because there was a strike one year, but obviously we know he's the
literal Iron Man.
Yeah. But Yeah, so I know my body the best. Like if I feel something, I might have to take a couple innings off, but I'll be ready the next day.
But it's different if you were like clearly out of shape and like pulling a hamstring every fucking 3 weeks, and it's like, bro, come on, like you're like 20 pounds overweight here. You just twisted your like, you know, I'm straining shit. Your back is off.
Listen to this shit. So in 2007 with the Yankees too, we actually brought in a new strength coach. Okay, well, all these guys are the best players in the world, so we get a new strength coach, and all of a sudden, everyone's doing the bands. So we're doing bands. We're doing bands. That was the start of this band shit. We lose, like Ian Kennedy, down, hamstring. We lose Phil Hughes, down. We keep on losing guys due to hamstrings. Well, that's what the bands do, is you never want to overstretch. Like I was a track runner. All I wanted to do was get warm and loose, but you never overstretch. Every time someone feels their hamstring, they keep on stretching, and you're just stretching, and you're hurting yourself more. So we kept going through this bullshit, and then that new strength coach lasted about 2 months, and he had 3 years left on his contract. But yeah, we started getting soft in the game too. Like I know the players are really good, really talented, really strong, and probably better in shape than our generation, as we were in better shape than the generation before us. But we knew what it took to get on the field. Like I knew if I could bench 205 15 times or 225 15 times, then I'm going to have a great series. If I only did it like 2 or 3 times and struggled, I was like, oh boy, I've got to find another way to get after it. So
we're slap hitting Oppo at that point. Yeah, it's like, we're gonna teardrop some singles in and try and swipe it back.
Yeah, we're gonna show bunt, try to draw them in, try to get the ball past them. But yeah, you find ways that makes your body feel better. Like if I had a bat that didn't feel good, why would I take it up to the plate? So I want to feel good every single moment. That's why I could never wear tape or anything. So but we were talking about being durable. I wanted to break that record, but after my year with Tampa, I couldn't get a job until May 1st. So I'm 10 weeks late for the season, missed spring training, missed the first month of the season, and going in fresh, swinging the golf club right-handed for those 10 weeks that I missed. So,
really?
So going back and trying to hit a baseball for Cleveland, holy shit, that's hard.
That was Swisher in Cleveland at that time?
No, Swish was still in New York.
Still in New York?
Yeah, so I had Kipnis, I had Hafner, and the reason why Cleveland signed me was because they were waiting for Grady Sizemore to get healthy.
Yeah.
And every time Grady felt a little something, they said, oh, we'll hold you off for another week. But he was probably 30 at the time. You're going to feel nicks and pains, but the training staff had to shut him down. It's crazy.
He had a ton of talent. He felt bad. He was just hurt his whole career. He was always hurt, dinged up with something.
But he wanted to play. It's like he gave the okay. I'm ready. But if he came back, then I could have found a team sooner before the playoffs and the trade deadline happened, and who knows how much longer I could have kept playing.
Was Tito in Cleveland at the time? No, he was still
we
with
had
us, right?
Manny Acta, and it was tough for me as a veteran because I never knew when I was going to play.
That sucks. That fucking must be so annoying.
After playing all those times, just let me know so I could hang out and chill and
all veteran guys want, I feel like, is transparency. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just let me know.
So communication skills was very difficult. And I found out, like, sometime before I got released, I was told that I had to wear a collared shirt to the ball field. And I was like, okay, but this is a nice T-shirt, so no nice T-shirts, collared shirts. So the guys caught wind of it, so they bought me the ugliest collared shirt the next day.
That's kind of funny, actually.
And then I got to the clubhouse, and I was told the next day I was going to get released. So
that's, I mean, if that's how, all right, like whatever. Now, to go from, all right, so now that we're talking about managers, we can go into it this way. I need you to tell the people, because he's still like, He's on par with Belichick for me. Like Terry Francona is the guy. Can you just tell us about Tito? Because he just seems like the best guy on planet Earth. Like everybody's lovable uncle, fucking awesome guy.
No, man, he's so awesome, and he loves this game. And I just found out that he's going to be the manager of Cincinnati.
I thought he was retired.
Oh, he's been retired a few times, but
and he just keeps coming back, man.
You know, this is his life. You know, he loves it. He wants to be around. He, he loves winning, as we all do, but he also loves that camaraderie that he can see how he can make a difference in these players' lives. And he sure made a great impression in Boston. I mean, coming over after who I believe Grady Little was one of the greatest managers and my favorite manager. And
really?
Yeah. Grady's the best, bro.
No shit.
Yeah,
you gotta tell the people about Grady, because not enough people really know about Grady, or he never gets talked about enough. He always gets, excuse me, he gets shit for the Pedro thing in 03. I get that. And then when you watch the documentary, I was watching the game live. When you watch the documentary, you're like, holy shit, he was fucking out there for a while. Wow. Like this just, what? Tell the people about Grady, and then I want your take on that part with the Pedro thing.
Okay, well, it seems like he was out there for a while because he was, but in today's day and age, you see pitchers come out of the game in the fifth inning. Well, this is Pedro Martinez, one of the greatest ever. And so, Grady was given a team without, a true closer. And
sure.
And when Pedro wants the ball, you got to give Pedro the ball. I mean, we knew they were getting the job done, sitting out there in the outfield. I understand Pedro being in there, but we had some really good guys down in the bullpen. We had Mike Timlin. I mean, Scott Williamson. We had Embry ready to rock and roll. And,
because they were they warming up? Weren't they? You guys were double gunned at the time, and they were like, "Yo, like."
But it shoulda, woulda, coulda.
I get it.
We end up winning. Who knows what happens with the Marlins? But I mean, you can't go back in life and say, damn. But I know for this one, you're going to say, damn.
No, I mean, no, it's Grady was like, for that one, I was like fuck. Like, it felt like you guys were really, obviously you were that close. You know what I'm saying? And it's like how everybody criticizes the move. And then you're sitting there like, if I'm Grady Little, how do I go out to Pedro Martinez and be like, like how, especially Pedro is the younger generation. Listen to this, man. You don't understand. Pedro was like, that's like going to fucking who now? It's like going to he was Pedro's, the guy. It was him and Randy Johnson.
Yeah,
Randy in the National League, Pedro in the American League.
Yep.
It was like this is like the guy, man. And put it this way. You know what's funny? For a guy that threw as hard as he did, I didn't realize till last night. Orlando Cabrera told me he threw 2 different changeups.
Yeah, I got to see it perfectly.
I don't know anybody else that even does that. Maybe someone does nowadays, but he had a circle and a regular change. One he would throw to righties, one he would throw to lefties.
Yeah, so back in '97, Pedro was opening day starter against the Royals. He threw me 3 pitches that I could not even get the bat off my shoulder, and they were all called balls. They were 3-0. I knew they were strikes, but I couldn't even go for them because how much the ball moved, how quick it got on you, and then the next 3 pitches, same thing. Couldn't get the bat off my shoulder. He struck me out on 6 strikes in my first at bat of the season.
So you're in the spin zone just immediately. You're just like, fuck, I'm fucked up here right now. Like this is not going to go.
I walk back to the dugout and say, good fucking luck, guys.
Yeah, were you leading off?
Yeah.
Oh, so your job, so the leadoff guy obviously goes back to the dugout, gets the first kind of look at the guy's stuff. So you had to just walk in and be like, yeah, guys, we're fucked. I don't know what to tell anybody. I couldn't hit that with a tennis racket, and this should be good.
So good. But Grady Little was not a sabermetric kind of guy. He would get these sheets. If this happens in this situation, do
was
this.
Theo pushing that shit?
The new regime in baseball and.
How did you feel like
Grady would just throw him in the trash?
How did you feel like it would be? Because you were coming from Oakland, where they started that sort of fucking Moneyball sabermetric shit that I think, to be honest with you, was like watered the game down huge today. But whatever. Were you like when you got to Boston? Were you like, oh, we're doing this shit again? Like I just left this.
No, because it wasn't brought up to us. Like I brought
okay.
the way I played the game. Maybe those
the managerial guys, management guys.
Maybe they're doing their homework on which player they're going to go after.
Right.
And in my situation, they had to move Carl Everett for me to get to Boston. So I'm not sure if they're doing the sabermetric stuff then let's get Johnny Damon, or no, this is a guy who can be your center fielder for the next 4 years. And so that's why I jumped on that. But back to Grady, not a sabermetric guy, threw the papers in the trash. And, I think if we won that year, he would have been fired anyways. I mean, that's the unfortunate side.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No. Like, Grady was the best. Like, he would tell me one day after I went 0 for 4, he's like, Johnny, if I would have known you would have been this shitty today, I would have just told you to take the whole day off.
That's fucking hilarious, dude. No, because he was saying, he said in the documentary, it's funny you say this, because he was like, somebody told me like I was up for manager of the year. He's like, and I was just like, sure. All right, yeah. Because you could tell he kind of had in the back of his mind, like, they might shit can me either way here. It doesn't matter how this is going to turn out.
Did he win manager of the year?
I don't know. Actually, I have no, because I remember that was your guys' like coming out party that first 03 year, because it was the late 90s, early 2000s Red Sox were not good.
Well, let me tell you, when Grady was announced as our manager in spring training, everybody stood up and cheered and clapped, because we had no idea. Like, they didn't leak things back then like they do now. Like, when you're a free,
it would have been on Twitter 3 days before you guys found out that he was your manager.
Yeah, so when you're a free agent in baseball back then, you can't talk to other teams for 6 weeks. But nowadays, you get the beat writers and the media saying, "Oh, this would be a perfect fit for the Mets." Like, so the Mets are going to have guys say, "Yeah, Juan Soto, he needs to be with the Mets. They're going to win a couple World Series. They're going to push that story around." And the Yankees are saying that we won him, but we have a huge payroll, and Stevie Cohen with the Mets. As we can see, he could care less.
That guy doesn't give a fuck.
No.
That guy has spent $500. That guy has spent $500 million.
Yeah.
Like, legit.
Absolutely.
Now, do you think Tito is the perfect, because when I hear the phrase like players coach or players manager, oftentimes the immediate connotation with that is like, okay, this guy's a half a chooch guy that, guys walk on kind of stuff. But like, it seems to me like Tito was the perfect players or was he not? I'm just saying what it seems like to me.
Tito was fantastic. I mean, he knew how to joke with you. He knew how to talk to you. I mean, that's what players really like, is just not be surprised by anything. And
great
Tito
communicator.
was, great communicator, always honest, always wanted to see what we were doing. If we're playing cards, if we're eating, he always wanted to come and make sure everybody was great. And therefore, I'm glad we did him a great thing and win that first championship. Yeah, I mean, and he deserved to be there for as long as he wanted to.
Do you remember the parade?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, I figured you were going to be like, absolutely not. I was fucking in one. We were just living it up. This was the craziest day of my life.
Well, we just didn't have enough. The biggest thing, we didn't have bathrooms, and we're on that boat for over 3 hours.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
nobody thinks about this.
Nobody thinks about this. So this was a long day of holding it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Fuck. That's got to be, you're like a hostage at that point. That's got to be tough.
Yeah, but it was a great day, a great celebration, and just, reason why.
Show them the rings up close, man. Show them the first ring. We'll get to the Yankee one in a second. Show them that, that thing is, oh, man.
Yeah.
That's put your name on it on the side, too.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Greatest comeback in history.
To go back to this comeback thing, right? So obviously everybody knows like the roller coaster of emotions where games 1, 2, and 3 obviously don't go your guys' way. Game 3, you guys get shit pumped, and you're like, fuck, we're really about to get absolutely washed out of this shit. Now, when you guys keep chipping back and chipping back and chipping back, you get to game 7. Did you, because we knew as fans, soon as you smashed the granny, we're like, we did this. It's over. We're like, that's it. Because we were up, if I'm not mistaken, somebody check. I think we were up 2-0 at the time, right? We had a couple on the board.
Yeah, so I got thrown out at home because I had to freeze on Manning's line drive that went right past Derek, and then they sent me home. They pulled Kevin Brown. David Wells comes in, first pitch, Big Poppy sees, he takes it out of the ballpark, and then it was the second inning.
Yeah, that was the second inning, and then it's like you're just did you when what's that?
No, you were gonna say did I know it was over?
I was gonna say what did you feel? Were you like, oh fuck, like yeah, or were you like
no? I remembered the year prior, and there wasn't a smile on my face when I hit that home run or the next one. I mean, we love getting more runs on the board, but I mean, we're playing the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. And
I know.
We've been here before, and we saw what happened, and let's make this happen again.
Yeah, and then you know what's funny is, if I'm not mistaken, everybody forgets that we beat the Cardinals in the World Series. Didn't they win like 102 games?
Yeah, they did.
They were like they weren't some chump team that just happened to make it, dude. The Cardinals were like the best team in the NL. I'm pretty sure they were nasty.
Yeah, a bunch of Boston comedians were saying we have no chance to beat the Cardinals. Like we spoiled the fans for a little bit.
Now that's a funny joke.
Yeah, so they were saying no one has a chance against the Cardinals, but their pitching staff going into that series.
Carpenter, maybe was it Mark Mulder?
Well, they started with Woody Williams, and then they went with a Chris Carpenter who had a little bit of injury, so he was one of the best.
Was Randy Wolf on that team?
Don't know. Then we faced Jeff Suppan and then Jason Marquis. So all four right-handed pitchers with similar stuff. You know, some guys are a little different, a little
sitting low 90s, had some movement, maybe a bit sinker action. Yeah.
It set up well for us, and I mean that's why we beat them. I mean, great pitching beats great hitting, and those guys did it. Now,
how do you think? Listen, as maligned as he's been in the media the last 2 years, how much? What can you say about if you want to say anything about Kurt, about Schilling? Him coming in, he had already won with the Diamondbacks. He was kind of that number two that you guys might have been missing. How do you you don't have to say anything if you don't want to. If you want to give a take on Schill, go right ahead. It's up to you.
It's all good, man. I joined Schilling on his podcast probably a year ago, and you know we're talking. We're all getting older. I'm good with Schilling. I know he does a lot of things that makes people unhappy, and I know with the whole situation with Wakefield, you know, he wanted more hearts and more thoughts thinking about Tim Wakefield. I don't believe he tried to do anything malicious. That's just me talking. I know other people have opinions, but I'm not in this world to, you know, guilt people or have hate. I always want to try to solve the problem. So, you know, I hope he can, you know, get happy again. I guess that's the biggest thing.
Because he's been through a lot in his life.
Yeah.
He had the whole oral cancer thing going. Like, he's been through a lot in his life, but he was always kind of that guy who sort of had like I don't want to say like a prickish energy to him, but like
that's what made him good.
That's what made him good. Yeah, you know what I mean? That was his thing. And like I think if he hadn't been so post-career opinionated and said some of the stuff he said or whatever the fuck, gave the takes he gave, that might maybe people would have forgiven that in the public a little bit more with the Wake thing. And like I just think that would have went differently had he been anybody but Kurt Schilling, put it that way. I think it would have went a little differently.
Yeah, of course he may say some outlandish things, but it's coming from him. I mean, last I checked, we live in America, and we're supposed to be the land of the free, and everyone has a answer to everything now. You know, he said what he said, and people make mistakes. I mean, I've said so many dumbass things in my life that if I let it burden me, I would just be absolutely miserable. And I don't want to do that. And I hope he can get through it. And I mean, you probably called me so many names in the fucking book when I went to the Yankees. You know what? We're sitting here together. We're friends. You know, it's
I was more sad. I was just sad. I wasn't even mad at you. I was just sad because you know what? And you know what's funny? let's get to that talking point. Describe to us the transition point of how this happened between the Sox and the Yankees. Because I got to say, for somebody like Ray Allen, I think and Jacoby Ellsbury got way more vitriol, I think, at them than you might have. Because I think people understood that you were in a different point in your career. Yeah. But like Ray was kind of at that same point. Ellsbury was in the prime of his career when he jumped ship and whenever did what he made the movie Made. But Ray was like, and I remember Ray coming out a couple of years ago and being like, dude, like they fucked me around. He's like, I wanted to stay here. They were waiting to give me an offer. My agent was like, what are we doing? I'm not looking for anything crazy here. Like Ray's in the last 4 or 5 years of his career, sort of the twilight years. What I feel like you're going to give people some insight here that they didn't have before.
Well, you just answered your own question.
Really?
I mean, that's how everything was, So we win the World Series in 2004. Theo tells me to buy a house. I'm going to be here for a long time, so we buy a house.
Oh, come on.
And then we built a pool. We played there in 2005. Thought I was going to get a contract in spring training. 4-year, $40 million extension was what I was hearing was on the table. I would have jumped at it. So I played the entire year. I have a great year. Going down to the last month of the season, I had to get a Lloyd's of London contract to protect the goods, So
Sure.
I told someone there's no more hometown discount when I become a free agent. So when I became a free agent, the Red Sox were the only team that could talk to me for 6 weeks after the season at that time. And as we mentioned prior, that nowadays if someone might go to a team, the media will leak something and then they'll get to talking and you're allowed. It's not, you don't get in trouble as much anymore. So I knew Detroit just lost 120 games, and their spring training was 45 minutes away from my house in Orlando, and they said they would love to have me, but they're giving a young kid named Curtis Granderson a shot this year. And then the Dodgers also needed a leadoff hitter and a center fielder, so started talking to them. They just signed for a call. They had no more money. Now it turns out the Yankees are the only team.
The Dodgers had no money?
The Dodgers had no money after they signed for a call.
At one point, the Dodgers didn't have enough money.
Yes.
It's not the case now, but at one point that was the case.
Well, that's what they tell you.
Sure.
So anyways, New York was the only team, and if I only had a short time to accept a deal with New York because they were going to move on and grab someone else. So they said 4 years, 52. We'll give you like 2 days to think about
Marinade,
it.
yeah.
And I was like, son of a gun, this would be a tough move. I was fan favorite in Boston. I didn't want to leave the fans.
Oh, people loved you here.
I wanted the Red Sox to come up just a little bit, come up to a 4-year, 44. What they should have said, no problem. The problem was they also have a young kid named Jacoby Ellsbury coming up. So at the end of the day, if the Yankees pass, I may sign a 1-year deal with the Red Sox and leave all that money on the table, or who knows? And there was no offer. I called Tito and Bronson and told them I have a deal. And Tito told Bronson that they think Johnny's lying. And then Sharon Tamposi, one of the former owners of the Red Sox, we told her we have a deal. She called Red Sox brass. They didn't believe me. And my wife, Michelle, she's like, they don't believe you? Your diary of the mouth, you tell the truth on everything. So she goes, maybe it's time. And, with every player says there's disrespect or whatnot, but I love the Red Sox. I never threw them under the bus. I was just like,
no,
this
you
isn't
didn't.
business.
You weren't talking shit on the way out. If I remember correctly,
still,
you were like, you were just, it is what it is. This is what it is.
And still, I had 4 great years there, and then I accepted with the Yankees the contract. They were supposed to wait till the next morning. It ended up leaving about a minute after I got off the phone, so they had some insiders. But made the move, and a couple of days later, I get a DHL package from the Red Sox, 4-year, $40 million contract, and it's like, okay.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of showing faith that they offered me a deal so they can tell the media that we offered him a contract. He just didn't take it. So, yeah, that's how things work.
Yeah, that's kind of a weird PR thing.
Well,
almost.
the same thing happened with Pedro as well. And I get it. I'm aging. I was on 3 teams in my career before I went to the Yankees. So, 4th team. So I knew the process. Like when Ellsbury left the Red Sox was all that he knew before he went to the Yankees. So I got to see many different clubhouses and knew the experience. So at the end of the day, it wasn't that bad.
I mean, you were quite literally down here, somewhere in the middle with Oakland, the top of the baseball world, obviously, with the Sox, and then like then top of the baseball world. But like Ellsbury, like, I mean, his situation obviously did not pan out in New York the way they wanted to. Not at all, I don't think. That's a tough one still.
Well, it's also tough when you have some other players coming up who are producing as well, because remember they had Aaron Hicks and they had some other guys. So all of a sudden, if you're not playing your best ball, you've got all these options to use.
Whose spot would you have been taking? Was it Bernie Williams?
Yes. Yeah, Bernie Williams, and that's tough.
Can we I'm not going to lie to you, man. Listen, as a guy who's a Sox fan who grew up literally fucking hating the Yankees, there were a couple of guys that I did respect and actually kind of like on the Yankees. Bernie Williams being the main guy. Yeah. Is he the most underrated player in like the whole, even just the Sox-Red Sox rivalry, or just like in general?
Yeah.
Like Bernie's the fucking man, and he had a great career.
Yeah, Bernie is so incredible. What he brought to the Yankees, playing his entire career there, winning some Gold Gloves, winning championships, and going in and taking his position is a tough one, but he played one more year. Yeah. So we got to play together, got to know each other a lot, and he was great being in this role that he had. And we're still friends to this day, and he's just an incredible
He just
human
always
being.
seemed like the nicest guy that was just a fucking happy dude to be there, like producing, like just chilling. Loved being in New York.
Yeah, but he always showed up to batting practice late, and
did he really?
He'd be cruising in his motorcycle.
Yeah.
Try to get there on time, and a lot of times he didn't. So Bernie's a badass, man.
You know what's funny is there was a YouTube video like all about him that this YouTube guy, it might have been Jolly Oliver, someone that was like, Bernie Williams is the statistical definition of a guy that was really good. Not Hall of Fame, just a really good baseball player, like, and had a really good career by all like sabermetric standards and stuff like that. He was never the best hitter in the league, never the fastest guy, never the best defensively, won a couple Gold Gloves, but he was never like trying to think of a guy who was just a black hole out there. I don't know, like Juan Pierre or something like that. But yeah, and the other part of that is you just mentioned something about teammates. What kind of teammate is Manny? How did his situation with if you want to say anything, you can. It's in the documentary, you can go watch the thing, and there's a whole segment on it about him. Like, did he miss a game or a practice to go like drink with Enrique Wilson at a hotel bar or something like that? It's in the documentary. You can go watch it. I'm not just making shit up, I promise. Like, how was Manny as a teammate? Like,
Manny was a great teammate, and there's some days where my early days, I was wondering where Manny was during batting practice. Well, being Manny, he would actually go to the ballpark early and get his work in and do all this stuff that I didn't know until playing with him for a couple years. So he would take his time, however his schedule of his day works. So he's going to do this part of his job early, and then when it's ready to do his other part of the job, he'll be ready to go. So that's not a bad way to look at things, or how you train, or how you get ready to do your stuff. But Manny's great. I only had to play left and center field probably 5 times at the same time in my career, and very
when
fortunate.
He cut the throw off, were you like, what the fuck is going on out here? Like, he's got some of the funniest on-field moments that I've ever seen from a player in any sport. Were you just like, dude, what are you fucking doing, man? What is going on?
Well, after that happened, Pedro gets pulled. Trot walks over, Manny goes into the monster, and Trot just starts laughing under his glove, saying, what the fuck did he just do?
What is he doing, man?
And then looking back, I'm like, okay, well, Manny definitely did not back me up when I was going to center field to try to make a play. So Manny doesn't dive at all. That was the first time Manny dove that whole season. And then you can see Billy Miller. You know, I was gonna one hop Billy Miller perfectly.
Yep.
And there's Manny.
Sure enough, there's
highlight
Manny.
forever.
The old outfield cutoff is when you don't, especially where you like all the more don't need it. It's like this fucking guy, man.
Oh man, yeah, it's gonna live on forever. So I guess thanks, Manny, for that great moment.
Yeah,
in my life.
that's fucking hilarious, dude. Can you describe to us again, like we talk about Boston, New York? What's the vibe difference? How was the franchise run differently? Obviously, the Yankees had like dress and uniform like code with you got to shave the beard and stuff like that. How can you describe? We're gonna get to another part of the Yankees in a second. I'll see if Johnny wants to tell you about it. Can you describe like culture, ownership? What was Stein like? Tell people what it's like between the both, like the dichotomy between both.
Well, I think both ownerships have done a fantastic job at building up Fenway around the park. They've done amazing things to Fenway Park. New places for people to hang out, suites and all that good stuff. So they were onto something. They knew Boston was undervalued, and if they could put some money into the team and to the city, I mean, look what happened.
Look at Lansdowne Street now. Remember what it used to be like when you were playing? It was like, there's a couple bars back here, but like the Roxy was there, other places and shit. Like,
oh, it's awesome, man. Like the difference with Boston fans is about 70% of them invite you over to their house every night for dinner. They put you on the TV, they pay attention, and it's amazing. That's why when you see Boston fans, it's like almost everyone knows who you are. And it's probably 5 out of 10, but they know who you are. Mm-hmm. But going to New York, there's more fans. It's probably 20-30% of the people who pay attention. So you see many people who have no idea about baseball. And that's what's great about New York. They have so many great things. A couple of basketball teams, hockey teams. You got a couple football teams, baseball teams. So there's so much going on. You have the arts and you have the shows and you have all these hedge fund guys who are like, man, I make so much more money than all those baseball players put together and all that good stuff. So people care. There's just a less percentage of it.
It's to your point. I think it's just because there's just so many more people in New York. It's just a math thing.
Yeah, it's
you
just
know what I mean.
percentage.
Boston's a smaller city. There's less people. There's less to focus on hustle and bustle wise. That's why sports are like royalty. Nick Verano Strega says it best. Our friend of the show, friend of family. Athletes are the celebrities in Boston. Yeah. They are.
Yep.
It's like you could have a fucking actor walk down the street and really nobody gives a fuck. But like if you or Ortiz, somebody's and it becomes like the Pope just came to town.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Great stuff.
Did you prefer one clubhouse vibe to the other? I'm not asking you to pick sides, but I'm just saying as far as like how operations were maintained and what was expected, what guys were allowed to do.
Yeah. Well, my first couple of years in Boston, we had that very tiny clubhouse, so we really couldn't do anything, and that's why they had to change it. We only had one tub for someone to get loose, and that's where our gym was. That's where our training tables was. And
one tub?
Yeah. So, and that's where the naked push-ups came up with me because I would jump in the tub. And then, I would jump in the tub, and then I would have to wait for someone to get off the training table. So pants are wet and everything, so I made people make room for me because once they saw my junk doing naked push-ups, they had to hurry the fuck up and give me that table.
That's the on signal to get it moving, please.
Absolutely. So, they did a great job. The clubhouse ended up being upstairs where the food was and just did a great job. The visiting side, still the same shitty visiting side because the Red Sox were like, fuck it. Yeah, fuck it. Let them be tight, uncomfortable, all that stuff.
Did you have a favorite stadium to play in on the road? Like, what was the...
Yeah, man, I loved going to Camden Yards.
I was just going to say, is it Camden Yards? I was literally about to say, I swear to God.
I knew going in there I was going to have a great series because their pitching staff just wasn't the same.
They also sucked.
Yeah, they sucked.
They were the worst team in the league.
Worst
they
case,
were terrible.
You knew you were going to be happy as a team after the game. So, Camden was very great. Going back to Royal Stadium after all those years.
Kauffman.
It's so great what they did back in 1973 when they. Well, no, it was late 60s, I believe. God, I don't know. My mind's everywhere.
It's all the same.
But the stadium, still fantastic. Still my favorite stadium.
Trop still the shit. Is the Trop the actual worst? It gets that reputation. I know you played for the Rays, but you might have seen.
Yeah, well, it's a bad stadium, but I didn't mind having that dome because you knew you weren't going to be rained out. You knew there was going to be a game regardless. It's going to be 72 degrees. Now there's going to be rain. I mean, the roof's off. I don't know how they can fix that shit because it blew off during the hurricane.
Why not just make a put a retractable roof? Seattle did it. Remember with Safeco?
Yeah, they did. It's going to take a number of years, but no one goes to St. Pete to watch a baseball game. So why are you going to build another ballpark?
Listen to this guy, man. Listen to this guy.
Now, Orlando is where I've been from for 44 years, and it makes a lot more sense. There's some land off of 528. There's some land by Gaylord Palms.
You're an Orlando guy, right? Born and raised.
And all the tourists we get coming through Orlando every single day, or where the fairgrounds are in Tampa. If they want to keep it over there, I mean, there's only a few places. Orlando has a couple big spots right now.
Because you as a Florida guy have to sit here and be like, Florida's a huge sport in this fucking state. Yet we're sitting here with Tampa and the Marlins.
Yeah, where no one goes to the games.
What the fuck is going on here? How? And
there's threats to move them again, and it's thinking about Montreal again, and it's didn't they lose?
Did
their
you play?
team?
You played in Montreal?
No,
right?
I never got to play. Yeah, never National
legit?
League. Yeah, never.
Really?
Yeah, I was American League, and then Montreal was out of the.
They were out of league in 05,
yeah.
right? They switched to the Nationals. I think it was 05, 06.
Possibly.
Yeah, whatever. Either way. It's like the Marlins, for some reason, right? Well, first off, they were actually kind of trying to win in the late 90s, 2000s, but then they'd sell the whole fucking team off.
Yeah, after they win.
Yeah. They won in 97, they trade everybody.
Yeah.
They build the team back up, they win in 03, they trade everybody. I don't understand. And they traded away studs.
Yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
Jeff
Great
Conine,
teams.
Mike Lowell and Josh Beckett. Hello.
Yeah.
Luis Castillo, Juan Pierre. Who else? Levan Hernandez.
Yeah, they've had a great franchise with players that they just don't keep for the fan base to get to know them.
It makes you know. And then they
for the Jazz this past year.
Jazz, exactly. Dude, they had Yelich, Stanton, and somebody else I forget in the outfield. They would have had this gauntlet of players. They just get these guys. And then remember they used to play. Didn't they used to play at the old Miami Dolphin Stadium? Pro Player Stadium, right?
Yeah, and that place was great. I loved it.
Oh, was it really?
Well, they made some adjustments, and it was we know it's going to be hot. It was fine. The
10-yard lines in center field.
We love the luxurious ballparks now with the nice locker rooms, but that was manageable. We weren't saying we need a new place. I could understand Detroit where you hit your head every time you tried to walk out of the dugout.
Really?
Yeah, Old Tiger Stadium was great to hit in because
it was 440 to center field.
Yeah, but pull the ball batting practice, we would launch balls over the
triple deck city all day.
Yeah. So what was cool about it, you felt like you were in a scoring position at home plate, and just a cool ballpark. But they definitely needed something else.
And that's where they built America and shit, right? Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and when you left the stadium, you just opened up a little door and you're in the streets with all the fans. You don't go through these tunnels or anything. So it's old school baseball.
There's legit just a door that you walk out.
Yeah,
and
you
it's
walk out and
all
all the fans are kind
Fenway,
of
you got to go through 18 tunnels in the back of everything.
Fenway too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Fenway is legit too. They try to keep the players away because we're rock stars up in Boston. So it's like people love us.
Who did you grow up rooting for?
The Kansas City Royals. I was born a military kid from Fort Riley, Kansas. So we didn't have baseball in Florida.
Oh, you actually were like a Royals fan growing up and
Yeah,
shit?
because we didn't have a team in Florida, so I wanted to root for the state that I was born in.
Oh,
yeah.
fuck.
Even though I
Because
was
the
born in
Rays
Kansas,
and the Marlins weren't around
No.
when you were a kid, right?
No.
Holy shit. So you were watching like the
George Brett.
Yeah.
Frank White, you know.
Is he the
Washington.
all-time like ball player besides Pete Rose? George Brett just fucking grit, no BGs, pine tar up the wazoo, just smashing the ball.
And just like the fire these guys had, like you're calling me out for having too much pine tar, you got to go fuck yourself. I'm going to fight over this. And that was the shit, you know. One of the great moments. But the reason why I wanted to play Major League Baseball was to win a championship because I saw him hoist the trophy in 1985.
Right?
And,
they won it.
And you know, very fortunate, man. I know I haven't showed this one yet, but
Show him the Yankee one. We got to show it. The Yankee one's beautiful.
Yeah. So first one for the Red Sox.
There it is.
Second one for the Yankees, both of them, or last one for the Yankees. First one, last one, and Curse of Johnny Damon.
It's the Curse of Johnny Damon, as it's called right now.
Open the floor up to a couple questions real quick.
It's up to the big man JD right here.
Yeah, and then we'll get rolling.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
All right.
Did you have this whole time and you didn't tell me? All right, fine, whatever.
So, rookie question there. What's the hardest pitch to hit against?
What's the hardest pitch to hit against for people that can't hear Tange off camera right now?
It's the changeup, especially
Yeah, it
coming
is.
from Pedro. I mean, same arm action, and Pedro's hands are about like 15 inches long, so you can't even see the ball. Same arm action, speed drops about 12 miles per hour. Impossible to hit.
Me as a guy who played briefly, not remotely close to the level this guy played briefly in college, and I can tell you personally, a changeup down in the zone away to me, even from a righty, I'm done. I'd rather a guy snap a slider off that moves this fucking much at 85 than try and swing through, than try and,
Yeah, it's like Bugs Bunny.
Yup.
He couldn't hit a changeup either.
Nope, absolutely not. Another question?
Last question.
All right.
Do you know the difference when a pitcher hits a run on accident than on purpose?
Do you know the difference between when a guy a pitcher hits a batter on purpose versus accident?
Yes,
Definitely.
100%. Yeah, you can see the intent, and if not, I would think the pitchers would say, "My bad." Like, seriously, bro, I didn't mean to do that. I mean, there's
Some guys don't
nothing
give a
wrong
fuck
with
if
that.
they hit you and they're like, yeah, too bad. Like,
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. But if your ball got away from you,
you also have to look at the count.
Yeah.
It's a 2-0. It's a 2-0 count. There's a guy on first with 2 outs, and a guy muffs a fucking curveball that just doesn't break the way he wants, loses the grip, and it plunks you on the thigh. The guy's not trying to hit you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
So the tough thing now, they didn't want pine tar in the
Stick 'em,
game.
whatever the fuck
yeah.
it's
So
called.
what guys started doing was hair gel
With, like,
powder,
suntan lotion and shit.
with the rosin bag. But I would rather the guy know where the ball is going instead of playing in 110-degree weather, sweating, and all of a sudden the ball gets loose.
guys
crushes
throwing
someone in the
99
back.
with this much movement on his fastball.
so-
It's like, I'd rather this guy get it around the plate.
Yeah, but they check these guys between almost every inning now, and anything can turn sticky with all the substances in the world right now. So I don't know how they are policing that, but it's
The other
great
part
job,
of this,
I guess.
Yeah, right. I guess so. The other part of it is like the spot where you hit a guy. Pedro would throw up and in and hit dudes like in the shoulder. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes guys say it's bad etiquette. You should just hit a guy. If you're gonna plunk a guy, waist down or whatever. Pedro's like, no, fuck this dude. I'm gonna throw like kind of at his face.
Yeah.
And that was part of, by the way, a lost start in pitching, Johnny. Intimidation.
Yes.
Pedro
Yes.
was an intimidating guy. You know what's funny? He's like my height.
Yeah.
He's like an average sized person. He's not some giant guy that is. Randy Johnson was 6'10". He looked intimidating.
Yeah.
And he threw 99.
And he intimidated you even before he got on the mound. The night before, a couple days before, you're like, are we going to get Pedro?
We got Pedro
or-
Sunday, dude. Fuck, it's Friday.
fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
Son of a bitch, get your hits now.
Legit. Yeah, let's get up on this team early because it was a guy you were just like, dude, you just don't know how much you're going to get off this guy, if anything at all.
Well, you see how many guys took days off, like Sunday, Pedro's pitching.
The Pedro report. Yeah, exactly.
Randy's pitching. It's like,
And you were a
something
lefty,
happened.
dude. Randy must have sucked to try and hit lefty. You were a lefty, too.
Yeah. I mean, fortunate for me, I caught him later in his career. He was still nasty as fuck, but it what was 94, not 102. So his slider was so good, too.
Well, later in his career was, because in his prime with the Diamondbacks, even like his later years with the Mariners, dude, like he was throwing like sitting like 98, 99. His slider moved about this much.
And a grinder. I mean, all those pitches he threw in the game, like 130 plus.
Absolutely, dude. Like
try to finish every game.
And you know what his problem was? Why he got started like late in his career? He really didn't become like good till he was like 26 because he just had no clue where the fuck the ball was going. He was just gun it with the Expos, right? He came up and he was just like, no clue where it's going, but I'm seeding right now, so I don't give a fuck.
Another person the Expos traded, right? Holy smokes.
Holy fuck, that's right, dude. Yeah, the Expos would have had some guys.
I mean, you got Larry Walker, Tim Raines.
Vlad.
Well, Dawson, Vladdy.
Andre Dawson.
All those guys.
Yeah, you're right. Holy shit.
Amazing. Yeah.
Another last guy played the fucking... Oh, my God.
Rondell White?
No. Pitcher. Hispanic guy. Played
Dennis
with the White
Martinez?
Sox. Nope. More like your era. Not Javi Lopez, was it? Oh my God, what is this guy's name? He was on the Yankees. 0304. He had you say his name, I'm going to remember him. It wasn't.
Not El Duque.
No. Not Jared Wright, the other guy. What the fuck is this guy's name, man? Started with the Expos. I'm gonna say it after. I can't remember what the fuck. He had like a Hispanic last name, like a Hispanic name. First and last name. Pitched with the White Sox. He was pretty good. What? No, this guy was a pitcher. Whatever. Either way, listen. Another great.
You know, Posada was a catcher. You probably didn't hear.
Yeah. No. Listen. I got nothing else, man. I had a blast on this fucking episode. I think this episode was exactly what people thought it was going to be. I'm very excited for this to hit the internet. I've been waiting for this. Who should we get on the podcast next? Who do you think would make a good guest?
I would say Jamie Parker.
Oh, get Jamie. Yeah, get Jamie a little seat on this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
well,
she has so many stories about us Red Sox, and she got to see everything over the years. So
I was going to say she was pretty close to your team, man. You know what I mean? Do you have any parting words you wanna leave either the fans of yours, whoever's? What do you want to say to these people?
Well, if you're fans, thank you very much. If you're not, just go fuck yourself.
That's it.
But regardless.
Drink A-game. We don't care if you're an asshole or if you're a fan. Just buy the shit. Shout out to Mark Wahlberg for the Unreal Golf Tournament and the municipal shoes, by the way. Get those on, Uncle Mark. Fucking awesome show. Let's go have a great rest of the day, rest of the night. I'm ready to go rip Heeg up. I don't know about you. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Oh, word.
Yes.
All right. That makes sense. Ready to go.
Yeah.
So we're ready to go. We'll see you guys in the next episode.
Thank you, fans.